or if you try really hard and get something. So even someone that's much better than me, they'll still be like really excited if you learn something good. So I don't know, I feel like it kind of mirrors the church in that way, because we always try to, because we're all on the same journey, right? Like that Lineage of Legends quote, we're on the same journey, just at different points. So we should support each other, like, because a big accomplishment for someone is still really big for them, so we should always like support each other. So, okay, so I'd like to invite the HARP band. We can enjoy listening and singing together for the first two songs. So please welcome up.
Can everyone stand up, please, for our first two songs, which are going to be Come Back Home and All the Lands That I Loved.
Come
Okay, so you guys can join me in reciting pledge number 5. Our family, the owner of China, pledges to strive every day to advance the unification of the spiritual world and the physical world, and subject to all of our partners, by centering on true love. Okay. Please join me in prayer. Dearest beloved Heavenly True Parents, thank you so much that we could all gather here today on this Sunday HARP service and be in each other's company. Thank you so much for Sanjanim's speech, that we can really be inspired to really find our role in this movement and to really push forward with our own personal goals, our own kind of ideals for the future, the things that we're planning, Father. I really pray that we can support each other as brothers and sisters, whether we're older or younger than one another. We can really support each other and create a strong HARP community. And I really pray that we can really keep the matching and blessing in mind and really be preparing our character and our purity for that, Father. I pray that we can really listen to Ruth's wisdom today and really be inspired by her heart and her level of commitment to the HARP community. So I really pray that we can have a really lovely HARP service today and also a nice time afterwards. I pray all this in my name, Mil Shirley, bless Central Family, Paji. Okay, so everyone can be seated, and let's invite Ruth up to give the announcements.
Good morning. Okay, so the first slide will be about the summer showcase. So Kaz, join us quickly.
Just to remind you, on June the 13th we have the summer showcase here. A couple of you I know that you're performing. I've been hearing stories about your performances and what you're doing, so it seems great. Just quickly, don't forget to come along and support people that are taking the time to perform. And if you are performing, please come a bit earlier than the actual dates, the actual time there, so we can get a finalised list of who's actually performing and we can order this schedule. Thank you.
Please support that cause. I think it's great that they're doing something like that. And I saw that a team of boys were in LG filming something amazing, so please come along and support that. And £5 isn't a lot, it's like a meal at McDonald's, so you can forego that, I think. So the next slide is about the HARP Summer Workshops, with an S. So there's 2, but you can only attend 1, okay? The first one will be from the 20th to the 25th of August, and the second one from the 25th to the 30th. So they're mixed age, so it's like HARP age 11 to 18, right? So going into year 7, leaving year 13. And yeah, the applications will be open soon. Probably I'll announce that at the next HARP service with the applications. So cool. And that's a reminder of last year because it was really awesome, but really big. So the idea is we can have 2, slightly smaller, but it means everyone can come to something hopefully rather than me saying no, you know? So that's the idea. Okay, so next slide. May birthdays, May babies. Any May babies? May you come to the front. Auntie Annette, anyone else? Come and stand up here, please. Are there any boys? Anyone else? May. Okay, so should we all sing happy birthday? Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
Okay, so if we could all rise and invite up the band one more time.
Yeah, so everyone please stand up for my next song, Unified Soldiers. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so this, oh, it's quite loud. The song that we've chosen today is The Climb by Miley Cyrus.
Hello? Okay, sorry.
So yeah, I know like during exam times it can be hard to keep inspiration and keep that kind of motivation of why we're all working hard and working towards a goal. So just hoping that this month we can help inspire you with our performance songs. I hope everyone enjoys it. Inside my head saying you'll never reach it.
Wasn't that great? Yeah. Woo! They keep getting better and better. Seriously, let's give them another round of applause. And maybe another round of applause for me for always organising it so well. Alright, so I'm going to introduce the sermon giver. Bear with me. Alright, I've written something. Okay, are you guys ready? You're going to drop it down. So the sermon giver is a natural giver of the heart. Where do I start? She's a smiling, sharing, chocolate cake baking, God-centered older sister. She'll never diss ya. She'll never say no. Yo, Ruth, are you free to talk? Yeah, G, I'm free to talk. How long can you talk? As long as you need. Cool, G, I appreciate thee. But what you fail to see is that Ruth is lying through her tooth. Yeah, Steez, G's. She's there for you. You. And me too. Welcome up, Ruth.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Weird tone. Okay. So how is everybody?
Good.
Good. Has everyone finished exams? You still have more. You want more? Okay, who's finished? Well done, guys. Who hasn't? Good luck. You'll be fine. Just support each other. Okay. So if you haven't guessed already, the theme of today is what? Humility. So, what does that mean? A show of hands. It helps if someone puts their hands up at this point, otherwise I have to kind of wing it. Okay. Being humble. Anything else? Johnson? Yeah. So, can I have the next slide? Oh, I've got a clicker. No. Okay, back. Okay, so the quality of having a modest view of one's importance. Who here knows someone particularly humble? Right? Whose mum is quite humble, maybe? My mum is very humble. So yeah, when we think about humble people, maybe we'll think of these guys. Do you guys know who these are? Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa. So, yeah. Both of these people were humble people, you'd say, right? So I think for myself personally, Mother Teresa was kind of like a role model for me. And she's not a K-pop star, is she really? She's not, I mean, I'm not saying she's ugly, but she, from a physical point of view, maybe you'd never think, oh yeah, I want to be like her, right? You know, she's not a member of Girls' Generation or anything, is she? She could have been, maybe, but yeah, so those who don't know who she is, I suggest you maybe look her up or something, particularly the girls. I think it's good to have these kinds of role models, you know. She really helped a lot of people with really contagious diseases. So she could have, you know, she could have died, right? But she really took care of people. So definitely look her up. And actually these people, like, both are kind of funny looking, you know. Like Gandhi had these big ears and glasses like mine, and he kind of was like a cartoon in a way, you know, you could animate him quite easily, right? But these guys weren't revered for the way they looked or for their worth in terms of material worth. Both of them didn't have a lot of money, right? And I think actually Gandhi, maybe he was like, came from quite a prestigious background, I don't remember. But the point was, from a materialistic point of view, they had nothing, right? But they're really revered, even today, for the things they stood up for and the things they did. And then, of course, we can look towards people like true parents, right? As a way of looking up towards somebody. I guess it's because I feel like there are a lot of idols now. I'm not just talking in the K-pop world, but there's this culture of idolizing, you know, like whether that be selfie or like, I don't know, you know, these kinds of people, like we really idolize actually. And I mean, even myself, like I saw Jim and Tanya, you know those two, right? Walking down Oxford Circus, and I kind of like stopped in my tracks. They're YouTubers, right? So whatever. But and I saw them, and I was like, oh my god! And I kind of freaked out. And I was like, oh my gosh! And it shows how we can really be drawn into this world of like idolizing. And someone shows a haul of like some new kicks, and you're like, I want those, you know. So I'm trying to like counter that idea of idolizing, and also idolizing each other as well. You know, sometimes we have a tendency to really put a lot of faith in our peers. I'm not saying don't support each other, but do you know what I mean? Like when we kind of big people up and we put our faith in a person rather than building a relationship this way. So we need to support each other. But then what happens if a friend stumbles and falls or, you know, does something silly? Then do we place our faith in them? And do we tumble also? Do you know what I mean? My dad once said to me when I was about 15, and he said something like, you know, yeah, it's good to have friends, but your best friend needs to be God. And at the end of the day, that's all you have. And I remember being quite like shocked and hurt, maybe like, what about my friends, you know, like best friends forever, this kind of thing. But you know, just through experiencing the blessing, through experiencing, you know, life changing and my best friend getting blessed and all these things, like relationships change. So ultimately, this channel needs to be really, you know, as strong as possible, you know, because then you're not shaken by when things get rough, you know. So that's not supposed to be that small, the text. Can you see the text? I made this slightly slides on a MacBook, and you know, the PC's kind of messed it up. So maybe it's small because he doesn't think he's egotistic, he can't see it, okay, let's put it that way. But who knows someone like this maybe? I don't know. He looks kind of like a Mooney, no? He looks half Japanese maybe, half Korean. So this is, yeah, Lee Kim, let's say. Anyway, so he's what's egotistic? To have a big ego. Anybody? So, if someone has a big ego, they're self-righteous, right? So, maybe a little bit self-absorbed, self-obsessed. I think to a point, we all have a bit of an ego, you know. I'm sure, like, I mean, I myself, I'm going to be honest with you, like, when you come up and give a talk, you want people to say that was good, right? So I have to really think, why am I on this stage? Do you know what I mean? Like, I want people to say, oh, that was really good, Ruth, that was really good, but then it's like anyone does. If you perform something, you want praise to a point, right? And so I'm not saying I'm like training and like, you know, really zen, but you know, you really have to get to a point where you're like, okay, to humble yourself and be like, no, I'm here, I stand as a conduit in a way. And not like a conduit like I'm God, but do you know what I mean? It's like, I stand before you trying to give you something, and my life's not perfect, and I'm not perfect, so then I need to somehow clear something, so that somehow a little piece of God, some fragment, maybe I can give it to you. You know what I mean? To the best of my ability. So, yeah. So I guess the key here is this. I mean, you've heard this so many times, right? So, for those who don't know what this is, do you want to shout it out?
Live for the sake of others.
Yeah. So, living for the sake of others is a real chance to grow in humility, don't you think? It's quite simple. So if you want to practice humility, then you give of yourself for other people. But it's hard to do it and not want praise. Like, I used to do the dishes secretly, but kind of make everyone know that I'd done it. Do you know what I mean? You come up with like a wet t-shirt, oh, that was tough. You know, oh, someone did the dishes. It was me, you know. Do you know what I mean? It's hard. Or like when you give a gift to somebody, I'm a gift giver, like that's how I kind of express if I care about somebody, right? And when someone doesn't like it, it's like, why am I talking about this? But it's like to give and expect something. Like, oh my god, that's amazing! I love it, you're the best, you know. Do you know what I mean? Or how else? I don't know if you've ever done something like that, or like, you know, how do I say, like you put on a show or something of like friendship so other people can see it. I don't know, like it's kind of like falsely living for the sake of others. So how do we train and become truly giving to others, right? So I've got a couple of videos that kind of demonstrate maybe kind of a heart of giving. So you can go ahead and watch those.
dich kurz stören? Ich würde mir gerne mal deine Eimer leihen, wäre das möglich?
Ein Eimer.
Ja, ein bisschen drauf spielen.
Spielen mit meinem Eimer.
Ja. Ein bisschen Musik machen. Cool, danke.
Hi, nicht schlecht.
Ja? Probieren wir noch mal was anderes.
Some usual day, everything seems okay. Lights in the mirror are perfect for work. Headphones are like a shield to the silence. But what would be if you were taking a look? Oh, another chance to change is gone. There will be new ones, but first you have to find them. This is the day, don't look away from the wings of humanity today. Cause this life is too short to waste a chance. Every evening you're watching TV, there's another misery. Only pictures and numbers you see, if you don't mind. Every day, close your eyes and go to bed. What would be if you were taken? Oh, another chance to change the song. There will be new ones, but first you have to find them. This is the day, don't look away from the wings of humanity today. Cause this life is too short to wait a chance.
Danke für den Eimer. Schönen Tag dir noch.
Coach Peter Morales of the Coronado High School Thunderbirds in El Paso, Texas, makes no qualms about it. He has a favorite on this team.
Mitchell, I need you to help me out with my coaching tips, Mitchell.
Team manager Mitchell Marcus has a developmental disability,
1, 2, 3,
and he far surpasses everyone here when it comes to love of the game.
He's just an amazing person that our basketball team loves being around.
Yay!
Mitchell's mom, Amy, says he's always been that way.
Mitchell always had a basketball. That was always what he wanted for his birthday.
And because basketball is that important to him, on the last game of the regular season, the coach told Mitchell to suit up.
What was it like to put on the uniform?
I was very happy.
I bet you were.
Just wearing a jersey was enough for Mitchell. But what he didn't know, what no one knew at the time, was that the coach planned to play him at the end, no matter what the score.
You were prepared to lose that game?
For his moment, yes. For his moment in time, yes.
And so, with a minute and a half left, Coronado leading, but only by 10, Coach Morales put in his manager.
And just started hearing Mitchell.
But here's where the fairy tale fell apart. Although his teammates did everything they could to get Mitchell a basket, each time they passed him the ball, he either missed the shot or like on their last possession, booted it out of bounds, turning the ball over to the other team with just seconds left.
He wasn't going to be able to score, but I was hoping that he was happy that he was just put in the game.
Could you have ever imagined what happened next?
No, I did. I could not. Not at all.
What happened next happened on the inbound. The guy with the ball there is a senior at Franklin High School, number 22, Jonathan Montañez.
I was raised to treat others how you want to be treated. Just thought Mitchell deserved his chance, deserves his opportunity.
I think I'll cry about it for the rest of my life.
What Jonathan did was yell out Mitchell's name, then threw the ball right to him, right there. One of the most memorable turnovers of all time. It wasn't the game-winning shot. When the buzzer sounded, Coronado had 15 more points than Franklin. But Jonathan's assist and Mitchell's basket did change the outcome decidedly. Play any game with this much sportsmanship, both teams win. Steve Hartman on the road in El Paso, Texas.
So yeah, I don't know, it's quite powerful. My brother's autistic, so for me that strikes quite deeply, you know? But again, like just to illustrate, just to really illustrate kind of living for the sake of, you know what living for the sake of others is, but you know, I've got to add something in there. So yeah, just this quote. Centering on yourself, you must find the standard that will enable you to care for others. So, what I want you to take away mainly from this sermon is this, okay? I did this late at night, so forgive me, but it's G-POW, okay? So if you're going to remember anything from this sermon, you've got to remember this. And this stands for God's point of view. Of course, view doesn't begin with a W. And actually, you know what happened? I was editing this last night, and I saw it at the last minute. I was like, wait a second, it should be G-POV. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound very good. So I kept it at G-POW, because it's kind of like G-POW, and you can remember it, right? So it's about seeing from God's point of view. And I think that also really makes things much more clear. So whatever you're doing, if you can try and see, like, okay, it's a big ideal, but what would God do? Or like, how should my actions be? So whatever you're watching, whatever you're saying, you know, would you be watching the same thing if your mum was behind you, or you know, or do you know what I mean? Like, would you watch that same film with your dad or something? Just in general, if you can live your life in a way that, not as if you're being watched, don't become paranoid, but do you know what I mean? It's like that ideal of like, okay, let's be godly somehow in some way. So what I want to ask is that you keep your vessel clean, right? Because God can't dwell where there's arrogance or like deceit or greed or these kinds of feelings or these kinds of traits. God can't really dwell. He can have a little pocket in there, you know, but can't really dilute what's going on inside. So we need to be like an empty glass so that God can fill us up with, you know, righteousness and good morals, right? So yeah, we need to have space for God to be in our lives, basically, which means we need to have clean up and a clear out, basically. So if you're harboring bad habits, maybe you've had a disagreement with somebody. I think I'm giving a sermon next week in South London about forgiveness. So I've been thinking about it a lot, about what it is to forgive and what it is to accept an apology. So that's also in a way baggage, you know, and it can be quite heavy on your heart. So it's really, I urge you to try and have a clear out, you know, and to be humbly confident. So by that I mean, I'm not saying here, leave here feeling really crusty about yourself, like I suck and I've got to be humble, like crawling out, you know, but like and rolling down the stairs. But do you know what I mean? It's about having, you know, humble confidence, or you know, like you know what you're good at, but you know what you need to work on, and you're going to try even, you know, although maybe not the best singer, but you'll give it a go to make other people happy or to make them laugh or something, you know. It's about being a true parent's representative as well, you know. I was at Irene Nikayan's Songwa yesterday. Do you know Farhad? Yeah, his wife passed away, And they were saying how she really believed she was God's true parents and God's representative. So she'd come to an event and there'd be seats at the front for VIPs, and they were like, sorry, this is VIP. So I'm a VIP, I'm God's representative. And not in a way like, I'm God's representative, but like, no, I need to be here to represent, you know. So to have that kind of heart, you know, that like, not entitlement, but kind of like this, like a humble power, you know, like a humble confidence. So we want to retune our hearts and fine-tune. So retune and then fine-tune. Like really clock into what we need in our lives and not what we want. Do you know what I mean? There are things we want all the time. Like, I like things, you know, I like design, so I like things. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when it becomes your all, you know. Like I bought a bag recently without telling Danny, actually, because we're trying to save money, right, to go to Japan. And it wasn't that expensive, but I kind of bought it. And then I was really looking forward to it. I went home early so I could open it. And I was saying, you know, yeah, package, Christmas. And then it wasn't that nice. Like it was crusty and it was broken. And I was like, oh, you know, do you know what I mean? And I just felt like, wow, I'd left work early to get a bag. So my week had revolved around this bag, you know. So I'm saying that because I myself know what it's like to be driven by material and to be driven by things and that kind of thing. So, yeah, so we want to tune into God FM or like LFSO 101 or something. I don't know, just, guys, bear with me, it was late. But, you know, I need to put some jokes in there. But just if you're going to take anything away from today, just this. So can I get you guys to please do it? It'll be really embarrassing to do it. Can you go like, G-POW or something, yeah? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. G-POW! And what does that stand for? Wow. Thank you, that's it for today.
Okay, so if we could have a moment of reflection. Okay. Can we give Ruth another round of applause? What I really liked about it was how she said that if you have God as your best friend, then you're like a better friend to your peers like thinking back, like the people that were most loyal to me and nicest to me were always people that had God as their best friend and not kind of me. Because if it's too horizontal, then relationships can kind of become a bit selfish and like, oh, I just want you to kind of love me. So I really liked it, Ruth, thank you. So I'd like to invite up the band now to do the offering song. Let's welcome them up.
Can everyone stand up, please, for offering song, Song of the Garden. Is the piano on?
Join me in offering prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, true parents, thank you that we can all be gathered here today, take time off in our busy schedules to really feel you here. And yeah, we thank you for Ruth's sermon. I think we all got a lot from that, and thank you for all the offering that we can give now and it be put to good use during this week. And we hope after this sermon we can have a good day today and have a good week, reflecting on Ruth's sermon and really think from GPAL. And for this now, my name's Sam Rainbow, for some trouble.
Okay, you may be seated. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our service today. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for the sound team at the back, Toby, backdrop has the art band, of course, and everyone for coming. So I hope you have a good week.